Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, I'm Vishnu from the OpenEBS team. Welcome to this month's OpenEBS community meeting. So I see some of the folks already on the call, and I believe we are expecting a few more to join. Maybe we could give them a minute before we get going. I see Simon has joined the call.
Can someone paste the link on Slack? I
It's
used to do
there
that.
already. Hi, Simon.
Yeah, hi. Sorry,
How are
mate.
you?
Yeah, good.
Thanks for joining. We are just about to begin the session, and it's also being recorded. Yeah, I guess we have more participants now. We can get started. So, welcome once again. Thanks, Simon, for joining the call. Thanks, everyone else as well. So, uh, the agenda for this meeting today is we will go through the sandbox application for OpenEBS, and then we will go through the roadmap, which has been updated in the recent past. So let me share my screen. Yeah, is my screen visible to everyone?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so just to set a context, right? OpenEBS has been a widely adopted storage for Kubernetes in the past. And uh, this year, um, the project was moved from sandbox to the archived position within the CNCF. So some of the concerns were related to how the project was being governed, and will the maintainers of the project be able to manage the large number of engines that OpenEBS was having in its portfolio. And there were a few other concerns raised as well. So the team has done a tremendous job in the last few months in trying to address all the issues that were raised by the CNCF, and we are really motivated to get back into the CNCF as a sandbox project now. So in July of this year, we reapplied back into this sandbox. So the way it works is we have to raise a GitHub issue, and CNCF will allocate a time for the review of this application. So you can see on my screen in the upcoming list, I think OpenEBS is kind of at number 5. So in all likelihood, the review meeting, which is happening on October 8th, OpenEBS will get discussed. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be able to make the cut once again back into this sandbox. So I would like to pause here and see if there are any questions from anyone.
Do we know when this sandbox evaluation will happen?
As I said, most likely on October 8th, if you can see on the um, screen,
All
right?
right.
So the next
Yeah.
review for the sandbox items is on 8th of October. And meanwhile, let me just quickly open up the issue as well that we have raised, the application, I mean. So I can also paste this link on the chat for anyone else to take a look at that. Mm, 1 second, how do I do that? I'm also learning Zoom now. There is a chat, but I'm not able to paste anything there. Let me see if I can. Chat. 1 second. Yes, I see that now. Hope the link is available for others, for everyone on the call. All right. Any other questions related to the sandbox application? All right. If there is any more question, we could please feel free to interrupt me, and then we could discuss on the same during the course of this call. Or if anyone has any questions, if they want to discuss offline, please reach out to the OpenEBS team on the Kubernetes Slack channel as well. Yeah. So one of the concerns that was raised as a part of the archival of OpenEBS was that uh, how can OpenEBS exist with so many sub-projects? So there were multiple storage engines like Jiva, CStore, and MayaStore for the replicated options. And then there were a host of local engines like HostPath, Device, LVM, ZFS, raw file, and there was an NFS provisioner as well. So there were like around close to 11 engines that we used to maintain as a part of OpenEBS portfolio. And one of the concerns raised was, is it realistically possible for the team to really maintain all these projects, right? So we did a in-depth analysis of what's the adoption usage for all these engines, and finally, like what makes sense to replace which engine, right? Like, for example, if there is a storage offering, say MayaStore, which is which is the more active one, and was actually planned to replace the older replicated variants like Jiva and CStore. So does it really make sense to maintain CStore and Jiva when you already have MayaStore, which is uh, doing the same job in a better way? So the maintainers decided to do this analysis, and finally they settled on mainly 4 sub-projects or engines. MayaStore was the only option selected for replicated, and the other 3 were HostPath, LVM local PV, and ZFS local PV, since the adoption for these engines was very, very high. And in addition, there is another project which is known as raw file local PV, which basically creates like a blob file onto the on the host path file system, and it addresses some of the limitations that OpenEBS host path has today. Like, for example, we will not be able to enforce uh, quota constraints for some of the workloads, and also there is a possibility of one workload eating up this storage space, um, eating up most of the storage space on the file system. Plus capabilities like snapshots and restores are also not very easy on the host path, not possible with the host path file system. So raw file local PV is considered as one of a better uh, approaches to giving a host path volume in the future. So it's currently still in the experimentation phase, and it is being worked upon as a beta project along with one of our external maintainers. So yeah, so the next step after identifying which are the engines that we would like to retain as a part of our new application into CNCF Sandbox. So we also had to come up with a roadmap for these storage engines. So the team has done due diligence in the last few months, where we engaged with the users. We looked upon all the issues that were being raised on the various GitHub sub-projects of OpenEBS. and we went through most of these issues. It is still work in progress, but we have, tried to cover most of these engines, and uh, alongside, we were able to come up with this new roadmap. I would not say this is completely new. Most of these items were already existing in this list, but we have tried to rearrange and also tried to assign um, like a release timelines for each of these items. So here we are not trying to look at all the previous roadmap items that have happened in the past. For that, one can refer the OpenEBS releases section, and they will be able to look at all the past history of the features that have been implemented. So we are mainly concentrating on the near-term and long-term roadmap starting from this year. Um, so as you can see here in this list, uh, there have been few releases which have happened on the OpenEBS. Like we have like a major release 4.0 that happened in Q1 of this year. And then we had one more minor release 4.1, which happened in Q3. And Q4, we are planning to have a another minor release 4.2. Similarly, Q1 probably of next year, we should be seeing 4.3 as well. And likewise, typically OpenEBS follows one minor release every 3 to 4 months. So in the next year, we should be seeing at least minimum 3 to 4 such releases. So this list is a comprehensive list, but again, it is subject to changes depending on what's the direction the project might take, and if there are any features which are really important from our users' perspectives, we might be able to accommodate some of them as well. But overall, this list should remain constant. Yeah, so I would not want to talk more about much about the features that have been completed. Like we came up with a unified installer and documentation as a part of our 4.0. We had to deprecate some of these legacy engines that I mentioned earlier as well. And then for the replicated engine, which is Maya Store, we had to work on some of the features like the uh, volume resize, as well as snapshots and restores. So this specific roadmap has feature sets for both replicated as well as local PB engines. So currently for the 4.2 scope, we are invested on enhancing and hardening our CI and end-to-end testing for the local PB engines. So that's been one of our major contributions towards the stability of the for the local PV engines. And then we do have some cool new features coming up as a part of the Maya store, like the replica distribution based on the topologies, and also NVMe over RDMA support. So by our benchmark testing that we have ran for this feature, we have seen around 15 to 20% performance improvements, which is a really great number, especially when we are running these tests on hardware NICs which support the RDMA. Yes, I think there are a lot of features on the screen. As you can see, some of them are specific to one specific engine. Like for example, the LVM local PV today has only the snapshot capabilities. There is no restore option available. So that's something that's a gap that we want to fix um, at the earliest. Similarly, there are certain features which are specific to only Maya Store, and then there are features which apply to all the engines, like the data protection, observability, unified kubectl plugin, and all. And one other feature that I want to highlight here uh, is the ability of OpenEBS to handle like scenarios when let's say like node on which the storage is present becomes unavailable due to some reason, but the storage is still um, not, I mean, still usable. So in such cases, how do we handle um, like the scenario where uh, let's say that the admin wants to detach the underlying block device from one node and attach it to another healthy node. So how do we ensure that we are able to bring up all the volumes on the new node since the underlying storage is available? So this is a requirement that most of our users have, I mean, have been asking from us in the last few months. So that's something that we have tried to prioritize in the uh, next releases. Yeah, I think, and yeah, of course, like one of the steps that we would like to undertake is we want to be able to graduate the local PV raw file from its current beta or experimental status to the stable status, which actually means that we need to have many capabilities, for example, CI hardening, end-to-end testing, and some of the features like snapshots, restores, and all, which are currently not available for the local PV raw file. We also don't have comprehensive documentation for this project, so we would like to address all these issues as a part of our efforts to graduate local PV raw file. Yeah, so as I said, like this list is just a placeholder list, and we'll be most likely working on these features in the near future. But we will also be taking in a lot of user feedback, and we'll be trying to accommodate any enhancement requests that are important for our users. Yeah, I guess that's the thing about the roadmap that I wanted to talk about. Um, Again, I would like to pause here, and if people will have any questions on this roadmap, please feel free to raise. If there is any specific feature that you or anyone else would like to see in the product, please feel free to raise a issue for that as an enhancement or as a feature request, and the maintainers will be able to uh, take that up, review that, and if it merits to be there as part of this roadmap, we will definitely uh, assign it to the list.
Hi, it's Simon. There's maybe a few items in this list that we could help at least on with design on. Like, a couple that kind of come to mind are handling the pool media transfer.
Okay.
So this sounds quite similar to what we do, so that a backend cloud volume can move between nodes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that we learned there because it took us quite a while to get that stabilized.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are probably a couple of others like the disk pool over multiple devices, observability enhancements.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, on any of those, I'm happy to help out.
Uh, that will be great, Simon. I think the next step that we would like to do here is we would like to uh, associate each of these high-level features with issues in GitHub. We might be having some of them already for some of these features, but the ones that don't have them, we would start creating the issues in GitHub, and we could collaborate on the design from there, if that sounds good, right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Anything that you feel is missing in this list, Simon, like from your experience, right? Or you could even come back later on that, but just would like to.
No, I mean it looks pretty good. I think the scheduling of like the volume placement, I think that's another one. using the topologies. Yeah, distribution on the replicate topology one. Yeah, the list looks good to me.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think we would like to really involve the community feedback as well as contributions if we can get from the community. That will be really wonderful. Is there anything, any question on anyone's mind on this roadmap? Anything that needs more discussion? Please feel free to flag it here.
Yeah, maybe we should add the topology feature to the roadmap because it was already part of it was already released on 2.7, right? Oh no, it is there. Ah, replica.
Yeah, it's
okay, so it was there.
yeah, it's in progress. So some part of it went as a part of the last release, and we are trying to target the completion by the next release.
So a quick question on the version numbers. So you've got version 4.2. I presume that is like an overall version for OpenEBS, and then you're going to have different versioning for each of the components. So like MyStore might be on a different version.
Yeah, so each engine, if you will have its own version. So for example, MyStore, I believe, is 2.7.1 at the moment. And maybe we should put this information on the release as well. I think that might be useful.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know the versions of the other ones by heart.
right. I think that's a good one. We need to like something like this, right, Tiago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere along the lines, I guess, for the starting with the 4.0, we have missed to put that. But I think we should update the release notes to have that information. Yeah. And yeah, I guess that kinds of sums it up for the agenda that we had today. So the remaining time is open for discussions. Maybe I would just would like have a couple of questions to Simon. Just was interested in knowing like how is the adoption for the Azure container storage services coming along?
Yeah, it's coming along well. Yeah, sort of steady growth, and you know, we're yeah, we're sort of learning as we take on new customers, what key use cases they have, and what the sort of sweet spot is.
Right. So there was one feature that I have not added in the roadmap, or at least I have been thinking for a while. That was about like a QoS control, right? Like if there are multiple volumes which are provisioned from the same underlying block device. So how can we assign specific QoS or IOPS or latency or throughput, right, for these volumes, so that they should not, it should not be the case that like a noisy neighbor case, right? So how do we prevent a noisy neighbor situation? So is that something that uh, has been requested, or is that visible, or is that happening with the Azure Container Storage Services?
Not at the moment. So it has been discussed, but we don't have anything in place at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have a lot of detail on. Yeah, we don't have anything at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else has anything to discuss for the remaining duration? Simon, do you have anything to discuss from your side? Any questions you would like to uh, ask us, or any information that you want to know from us?
So as you know, we're on quite an old version of MyStore. We're quite interested in the HA design that was implemented after we sort of forked off, I suppose. So I was curious if there's any design docs or anything like that that I can share with the team.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is something that we are kind of have it on the back of our minds, because some of these design docs are not available today in the open source. So we would like to start documenting them, especially the major features like HA, thin provisioning, and these ones, right? So we do plan to start documenting them.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think we need to start perhaps adding those as items to the roadmap as well, because in many of them we do have documentation, but it's not on the sort of MD format.
Right.
So it will require some effort converting from, Confluence, or maybe there is some tool that can do a reasonable job at it.
Right.
That would be great.
Yeah. MD format will be better, so that anyone could collaborate, right, easily.
Yeah, we should start using that in the future for new features, I think.
Yeah. For the local PV engines, I believe we do have some of them. If I'm not mistaken, that is somewhere in the designs. Yeah, I think this is the place. Yeah, I see that. The resize workflow, and yeah, it's there for the local PVs. For Maya Store, we are yet to add them here. So are you saying, Tiago, that we should track this as a roadmap item?
Yes, I think so, because I think that would bring, great value for the community.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I guess we could also just have a discussion in the maintenance meeting and then take a decision on this, right? How do we plan this out?
Yeah.
And likewise, if there's any of the roadmap items that have yet to be designed and there are areas where we can help, let me know which ones those are, and I can maybe get started on draft designs.
Ah, okay.
Just sharing, you know, if for example we've already implemented something similar, we can share our experiences.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Like
Yeah.
one of them that is potentially relevant at the moment is the disk pool over multiple devices.
Yeah. Disk pool over multiple devices is something that um, I think will definitely need some help on this. And I think you already saw this handle pool media transfer, right? So that will also be a good one.
Yeah.
And then if unmap is like supported, then that could also help us.
I think ours will be quite different from the LVS version of that.
Okay, right. And snapshot rebuilding is something that has been a complex design for us. Like when we rebuild a replica on a different pool. So today that does not take into account the snapshot data from the source. So um, that was one item which we wanted to start. So I know that there has been a good progress here, especially on the design front, but maybe we could validate or we could get some help on the validation part of this design.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think we are having around 3 more minutes before the call will automatically disconnect. Um, it's a 40-minute call.
Yeah, I guess one last thing would be again to mention that the sandbox application is going to be reviewed, I think in 2 weeks' time.
Yes. October 8th is the date. And
Right. That's it. Yeah.
yeah, I
So
think,
if
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, you know, I don't know how much value that would add, but if it was possible for some of the external folks to somehow endorse the project, but I don't know how much weight that would, you know, give to the application, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it will for sure, because one of the metrics that I believe CNCF wants to have a look at is how many adopters we have for this project. So more the merrier, or at least if there is any weightage on the recommendations in the application, that will also help us. So if any of you are aware of any users of OpenEBS who have not uh, been added as adopters, please reach out to them. I saw that Sivo, one of our main adopters of Maya Store, they recently, I think just so today itself, they have added their story here, which is great. So we would like more such love for the project.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, but I will check back and see what we can do.
Okay, sure, Simon, that will be great. Yeah. All right, I think I will stop sharing my screen, and we are just 1 minute left in the meeting. So let me stop recording as well. If there's nothing else to discuss, we can call it a day.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.